All right, while you look at this really amazing view, this is the road that connects off the road from St. Mary's to the airport. It's right in between the airport and St. Mary's. It's the road to Pitkas Point. And Pitkas is a real small village of about 120 people. It sits on the Yukon. It's beautiful. But now that we've kind of seen the airplanes, we've seen the village a little bit, seen typical housing, I thought that we would talk about what you'd be doing out here. I know you read on Workplace Alaska the description of the job description, actually. Whether it's a children's service specialist or a social worker, you're doing the same job. We are generalists out here in the bush. That means we do it all. We do everything from taking the initial protective service reports. Those are the reports of harm on children. Those are people calling in that have concerns about kids being abused or neglected. We go out and we do the actual investigations. We work with all of our native families out here to keep the kids in their homes. Our job is to keep kids in their homes. We work really, really hard to do that by creating safety plans, by doing case planning. We refer for services to things like substance abuse, domestic violence education, parenting, things like that. We really do work diligently to keep kids in the home. Unfortunately, sometimes it does become necessary to take custody of children. And, this is part of our job. It's something that a lot of people stress out about. That's the part that makes people worry when they do take a job like this. But do know that you'll have lots of support and lots of training and lots of on-the-job experience. So when it does become necessary to remove kids, we always work hard to place the children with their families in the village. We want to keep them in their own village, in their own culture, closest to everything that they know that we possibly can. If that's not available, we look to extended family, and lastly, we seek to place kids in foster care. Obviously trying to keep them as close to home as we can and close to their parents as we can. At that point, our goal is to reunify the family. So we work really hard trying to engage parents with the services. We set up visitations with the children. Out here, visitation is really difficult because sometimes a child can end up 150 miles away from their parents, and we work really hard to do visitation, phone visitation, actual visitation. So keeping those bonds and those ties are really important. So obviously, if we can't reunify a family, if we can't alleviate the safety threats that made us remove those children, we seek to terminate parental rights. So as you can hear, there's a lot to do with court, a lot of court reports, court appearances, court documentation. That's a big part of our job. I heard it said once that we're legal social workers, and that is a big part of what we do. What we do, we have to justify in court. So again, I know it sounds a little scary, but you'll have lots and lots of on-the-job experience and actual training. So a lot of what we do out here, we learn by our supervisors, we learn from our coworkers, and of course the trainings as well. During your first month or so, you will go to TONE training, which is training and orientation for new employees. It is a 2-week training in Anchorage, and that'll give you the general gist of what we do and kind of give you the initial training stuff that we do. And I'm going to stop talking because people are laughing at me. And these are the things that happen. So we'll photograph the truck going down the road. Okay. So we'll have TONE in the first 2 weeks, and in their first year of employment, there will be numerous trainings that you'll have to complete, and a lot of them are really, really good trainings, such as our forensic interviewing training for children. It's great, and I could go on and on about that. But, I really feel like the best training that you will get out here will be on the job shadowing. It's what we do because A lot of the training is really general for all of Alaska, and quite honestly, what OCS workers do in Anchorage, Juneau, and Fairbanks and the urban areas of the state are so very different than what we do out here. And we really do a lot of thinking outside of the box kind of things, and I love that. I love being able to be creative in social working out here to create safety for our kids, to keep them close to home and in their homes. So you saw the plane just a little bit ago that we usually travel on, and most of those, let me say this, that is how we get to our other villages. Once you're in the villages, you could end up traveling by four-wheelers, snow machine, boat, and also on foot. We do a lot of walking around. It's a very physical job. And I already mentioned, come with your real cold weather gear. So if, all of that sounds exciting, then you are the person we want. We want somebody to come out here with an open mind, someone that can be flexible, someone that can go with the flow, and someone that has an adventurous spirit. And just a quick note before we wrap up the video, come with your sleeping bag, because when you're down in the villages, you'll be sleeping on the floor in the tribal office and on the floors at schools and some other places. So come with a good comfy sleeping bag. All right, this will conclude the the bush tour. And we